Back in March, the president of France stood in front of a nuclear submarine called the Fearless and announced that France would increase its nuclear warhead stockpile for the first time since 1992, deploy nuclear-armed fighter jets to allied countries across Europe, and extend its nuclear umbrella to any European partner willing to sign up. He called it forward deterrence, and then he said this: if we had to use our arsenal, no state, however powerful, could shield itself from it, and no state, however vast, would recover from it. 3 months later, 9 countries have signed up: Germany, the United Kingdom, Poland, the Netherlands, Belgium, Sweden, Denmark, Greece, and as of last week, Norway. 9 European nations have formally entered a French nuclear protection framework that did not exist 4 months ago. And today, as if on cue, the Financial Times reports that the United States is now in talks to expand its own nuclear weapons deployment and program, adding new host countries for American dual-capable aircraft. So the US watched 9 allies sign up for a French nuclear umbrella, and its response is to offer more of the same arrangement that Europe just decided it could no longer rely on. The United States was not consulted, it was not invited, it was replaced, and now it is scrambling to stay relevant. My name is Elle, and I use data analysis to spot patterns in geopolitics and economics, and the pattern here is unlike anything this channel has ever covered, because this is not about trade deals or payment systems or submarine orders. This is about Europe deciding, quietly, methodically, and at extraordinary speed, that the American nuclear umbrella can no longer be trusted and that France will provide a replacement. Give this video a like, my friends, subscribe if you'd like to see more of this kind of content, and let's dive in. If you've been following this channel's playlist on European decoupling from the United States, you have watched this unfold across every sector: defense spending, cloud sovereignty, payments, software, AI, semiconductors, and Canada. This is the final layer, the nuclear layer, and it changes everything about how power works on the continent. Here is what Macron actually offered. Under the forward deterrence framework, participating countries can temporarily host French strategic air forces, nuclear-capable Rafale fighter jets that would spread across the European continent to, in Macron's words, complicate the calculations of adversaries. France is building 2 new Rafale squadrons, nearly 40 aircraft, at an airbase near the German border, with 1.5 billion euros in modernization funding and 2,000 military personnel stationed there by 2035. Partner nations will participate in French nuclear exercises, visit French nuclear weapons facilities, and integrate their conventional forces into French nuclear operations. France will also stop disclosing the size of its arsenal to maintain strategic ambiguity. Macron called the dispersal of nuclear capability across Europe an archipelago of power. Poland is already in discussions about forward deployment of nuclear-capable Rafale aircraft on Polish territory. Germany, which is furthest along, has formed a steering group with France and will observe French nuclear exercises as early as this incoming September. The Bundeswehr, that's Germany's military, may later take on active supporting roles as well. If you're trying to understand how to read the difference between a diplomatic gesture and a structural break in the global security order, my book, Awake, the Practice of Critical Thinking in an Age of Self-Lies, is available as an ebook and audiobook. Subscribers get 10% off, and you can grab the first chapter for free in the description links below. Norway's entry is particularly significant. Norwegian Prime Minister Jonas Gahr Støre flew to Paris last week, stood next to Macron at the Élysée Palace, and signed the agreement in person. He said Europe is contending with the most serious security situation since the Second World War. This is serious. Norway will not host nuclear weapons in peacetime, but the framework links existential threats to Norwegian security to a potential French nuclear response, even if the United States chooses to disengage. That last phrase is the one that matters the most. So even if the United States chooses to disengage, that is no longer a hypothetical for European planners, it is the baseline assumption. And now here is the part that makes this story almost absurd. Today, the same week Norway signed up for French nuclear protection, the Financial Times, my favorite newspaper by the way, reported that the United States is in talks to expand its own nuclear weapons deployments in Europe, adding new host countries for American dual-capable aircraft beyond the 6 that already participate. The US wants to put more of its nuclear weapons on European soil, and the European response, at least in the comments section and in the diplomatic back channels, is exactly what you would expect from a continent whose territory was threatened by the country offering the weapons. One commenter on the Financial Times article put it very plainly, I'm quoting here, "They just threatened to invade EU territory, which is something not even Russia has done in decades. The French have nukes and they can lead the EU, thank you very much. Signed, a non-French European." This is not a French opinion, this is just the mood. Because remember what triggered this for a second. In January 2026, European troops from France, Germany, Sweden, and Norway deployed to Greenland in a rapid 2-day mission to bolster the territory's defenses, not against Russia, but because the United States was publicly threatening to take over a self-governing territory of Denmark. The President of the United States threatened to impose tariffs on countries that oppose his plans for Greenland. Russia's deputy foreign minister then warned that Moscow would respond militarily if the US deployed weapons there. And European leaders looked at the situation and drew the obvious conclusion: the country that is supposed to protect them under the nuclear umbrella is the same country threatening to seize their territory. The Atlantic Council published an analysis noting that the 2026 U.S. National Defense Strategy did not even explicitly mention extended deterrence, which is the foundational promise that American nuclear weapons protect allied nations. European officials, of course, noticed that is not a partnership, that is a protection racket where the protector has started eyeing the furniture. Macron's speech came 6 weeks after the Greenland crisis, so the timing is not at all subtle. And the numbers, of course, as always, tell the strategic story. France currently holds approximately 290 warheads, the 4th largest arsenal in the world after the US, Russia, and China. That is small compared to the American arsenal of roughly 3,700. But France's nuclear force has one quality the American umbrella does not. It is controlled entirely from Paris. No president in Washington can withdraw it, no election can cancel it, no social media post from an undersecretary of defense can suspend it. France is also launching a new nuclear-armed submarine called the Invincible in 2036 and has announced it will increase and accelerate orders for Rafale jets. This is not a symbolic gesture with a press release attached to it. We're talking a military build-out with a 30-year timeline and a budget to match. So here's where all of this goes, in my opinion. I think by the end of 2026, at least 2 more European countries will join the forward deterrence framework. Finland and the Czech Republic are the most likely candidates, I think. Germany's participation in French nuclear exercises in September will likely produce the first joint Franco-German nuclear operations imagery since the Cold War, and it will probably dominate European media for a week. Let's see, we're going to cover it on this channel anyway. France will announce a specific warhead increase number by early 2027, likely bringing the arsenal above 350 for the first time ever. The NATO nuclear sharing arrangement, where American B-61 bombs sit in vaults in Belgium, the Netherlands, Germany, Italy, and Turkey, will probably not be formally dismantled, but it will become strategically kind of redundant for the countries that have signed up with France. And the United States will discover slowly and then all at once that the nuclear umbrella it built over 70 years is being replaced not because it failed, but because Europe no longer trusts the hand holding it. But if Europe is building its own nuclear umbrella, its own payment system, its own cloud, its own office software, its own submarines, and pulling Canada into its orbit every day further, what exactly does Europe still need the United States for? I made a separate video covering that exact question. That's the one that I would watch next. Thanks so much for watching this one. Subscribe, and I'll see you all on the next one.